You're listening to the Morphology Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the Morphology Podcast. Hey, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to this podcast and give it a thumbs up if it's deserving. It helps me a lot. Anyway, aka Murph here to share interviews about biking experiences from cyclists who have pedaled to places all over. Each week, we will get to know new people and explore new destinations to ride your bike. And as you listen to these adventures, you may wonder, why haven't I done that yet? Recently, I was lucky enough to spend a weekend at the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort, and let me tell you, Torie, the owner, has it all figured out. Torie Giffin, the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort's visionary and intrepid leader, has always led with her heart and passion for others. Hospitality is at her core. So when she decided to create a resort for cyclists, there was no question she was going to make it great. During my visit, even though it was colder than normal and there was snow on the ground, the resort was buzzing with energy. Check out my Instagram page for some photos and videos of the resort as well as my room, or go to bicycleresort.com. Every Saturday, year-round, Torie leads the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe on a bike ride, so I was able to join in on the fun after our interview. She took us through Garden of the Gods, and I was in awe the whole ride. Note, we did this interview in the main lodge, so you may hear some background noises as guests come and go. Here's my interview with Torie. All right, well, on the show today, we have Torie. Hey, Torie.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Well, we are recording this live at the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort, which is the business and the facility that Torie owns.
I'm so glad to have you here. Isn't it a beautiful morning at the lodge?
It is beautiful. Yeah, it's a February morning. There's actually a little bit of snow here and there, but the sun is shining, and I can't believe how it went from, I'm from Iowa, so it went from freezing cold to once the sun starts shining.
It's great.
Yeah.
They say if you don't like the weather in Colorado, just wait a minute.
That is so true. So we're sitting in the main lodge, and there is bicycle art everywhere. It's just a beautiful room, one of the biggest fireplaces I've ever seen, ever.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So you're on the podcast because I want to talk about this resort and specifically the fact that it's a bicycle resort. So I think the listeners will really are going to get a kick out of learning about what it is, the history of it, and then how they can come and stay.
Yes. I have kind of the most amazing life. I live above the lodge, and I host people from all over the world. Country right now, not as many international travelers right now, but I get to geek out on what bicyclist walks in through the door at any given minute and what kind of adventure they're going to go on. And it's just a cool little life.
Yeah, and I had to Google what Motor Lodge was because this used to be a motor lodge, and I know you're going to tell me a little bit about the history, but the room that you put me in literally has a bike rack inside, so I could put my bike up on the wall, have it hanging, be able to look at it from anywhere in the room. It was really, really cool.
Yes, we're in the middle of 4.5 years worth of work to transform a 100-year-old motor court hotel into a really cool haven for bicyclists. It's cool because the place has a lot of history of the area.
Yeah.
So that really draws people because I think people would rather stay at some place that has a little character, family owned, and not just chain hotels. And
oh, for sure.
After traveling with my bike and doing bike events all over, and bringing my bike up on an elevator, and I would never leave my bike on the back of my car and go stay on the 5th floor somewhere. And I just felt like that there was a need for a hotel that would cater to bicyclists. I had a dream about it, and that's what I'm living right now, is a hotel that welcomes bicyclists.
Yeah, well, and we should probably, before we get too far into it, tell the listeners where we're located, and we'll go from there as far as the history.
So the coolest part about this place and what makes it such a great spot for a bicycle resort is that we're right at the base of Pikes Peak, America's Mountain. We're right next to the #1 park in the U.S., #2 in the world on TripAdvisor, Garden of the Gods, which is just this red rock, majestic, mountain drive. I mean, I don't know how else. I mean, like we just ride right out of our room. So like you hang your bike on the wall in your room. You can get off your bike and ride right into Garden of the Gods, which is just.
And a side note, we are going on a bike ride in about half an hour.
We're getting ready.
So we may have to do a second podcast to say how great it was.
Yeah, and hang with all my people. So we have the Buffalo Lodge Bike Tribe that rides out of here every Saturday morning.
Oh, nice.
Year round, unless there's ice and snow or blizzard. But usually we only miss like 2 to 4 rides a year.
Wow.
Due to weather. So, yeah.
Wow. So give us some history on, you know what? We never said. Yeah, we did say where we were, right? Colorado Springs?
We're at Colorado Springs. Yes, we're in Colorado Springs, right next to Pikes Peak.
Yes.
I mean, the coolest thing is that there are hundreds of miles of mountain bike and paved trails around the city, and you can go just explore just the most amazing, majestic, epic things. People come here from all over the world to ride up and down Pikes Peak. They come here to go ride Garden of the Gods.
Yep.
You can just and it's bucket list. You can ride around Pikes Peak.
Oh, wow.
They're working on completing a trail called Ring the Peak that goes around Pikes Peak, and people just, they geek out. I mean, it's just amazing.
I can't wait to actually get on my bike. But
that's where we're taking you today. So today we're taking you to Garden of the Gods, and it's a ride that I call Garden of the Gods, all the views, vantages, and vistas.
Ooh.
And so we're going to go look at all the scenic overlooks over the park, and it's so pretty with the red rocks covered with snow. It's just epic.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So we were talking last night, and you literally had a dream.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
So I guess it was about 6 years ago now, because we're about to celebrate our 5th anniversary here. But about 6 years ago, I had just 2 nights of the most vivid dream about a hotel that would cater to bicyclists. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, surely there has to be a bicycle, because I was the type of person that was always trying to invent something or come up with the next great idea. Like, what's going to be the thing? And when I thought of the hotel for bicyclists, like, I could see a bicycle village with fire pits and music and beer and just all kinds of great camaraderie and people hanging around sharing adventures. And I did research the next 2 nights after my dream, looking up like, are there other bicycle hotels? And I couldn't find anything in the U.S.
Really?
There is the Whitefish Bike Retreat in Montana, which is like a really cool mountain biking. It's like camp spots and an old barn and stuff that has rooms that you can stay in. But other than a few hostels along the transcontinental bike route and things like that, you really can't find a hotel for bicyclists that's bicycle themed, bicycle friendly, and geared strictly to bicyclists. Except in Europe and other parts of the world, they do have like bicycle friendly rating systems and things like that. And I just thought, after looking at what they're doing in other countries, like surely something like that could work here in the U.S.
For sure, yeah. So then how did you end up owning this space?
Well, it was kind of wild, because at the time I was working a job in marketing and putting on local bike events and leading breakfast rides year round, kind of, like I have managed to make a living at leading bicycle rides, which is really amazing.
Perfect.
I was putting on local bike rides and events, and so we literally had no savings, no health insurance at the time, living paycheck to paycheck. I'm raising 3 kids who are all young kids, and it was just like I had no money, but I had this idea, and it's kind of like Fargo, where it's like, yeah, it's my idea. I'm like, how do you transform from having this great idea to actually realizing it? And I didn't think it was going to happen now, but while I was out scouting a bike route for a race that I was putting on, I happened by the Buffalo Lodge, and I had remembered that like 10 years before that, I had a flat tire in front of this really cool old motor court.
Seriously?
Yeah, I had a flat tire on my bike, and I came in to use the phone and sat on a bench out front, because I was really a dumb rider that day, but it was so great that I didn't have all the stuff I needed to change my own tire that day, and and I was waiting for a ride, sitting in front of the Buffalo Lodge thinking, what a cool place. And so 6 years ago, I happened upon it again, and I drove through, and I'm driving through, and it looks like a little village, and all the rooms are next to each other and across from each other. And as I drove around, and then there's this huge field in the back, and a big pavilion and swimming pool, and chills just started going up my arms,
like,
hair standing on the end. I'm like, I swear this is the place that I dreamed about.
My gosh.
And next thing you know it, I'm pulling up into the lodge, walking into the lodge and saying, hi, my name's Torie, and if you ever decide to sell this place, will you give me a call? And they were like, it's for sale now.
Oh, jeez.
And like all of a sudden my dream went from just an idea I was poking around at to
like, this is the
it's
place.
For sale. This is it.
Oh,
like,
my gosh.
I'm supposed to do this. And now how do I, with no money, make this happen?
Right.
And fortunately, I had built up just a lot of goodwill in the cycling world and this community through the work that I'd been doing and leading bike rides, that there were friends and family that believed in me enough to help invest in my dream. Local bike shop, Criterion Bicycles, I'd worked with him on my races, and he invested $20,000 in my dream, and I just paid him back 6 months ago, early. I was very excited to do that, but through friends and family and just a really tenacity. Wow. I mean, I just didn't give up, and so
And then here we are. How many years later?
I'm about to celebrate 5-year anniversary this summer.
5 years, and this is a successful business. I mean, people. I have to give a shout out to 3 people that encouraged me through social media that I had to come. First one is Party Pat, which is Pat Mabin from Primal Wear.
Yes.
So shout out to Pat.
We just did a shot ski here the other week.
Yeah, he told me to be careful of the shot ski. So I'm like, I haven't seen it yet. So
we still have tonight.
Okay. And then Megan Hopman, she's the cyclist lawyer. She rode her bike with 2 dogs in the back from her town, which is 100 miles away.
In Boulder.
And came here.
Or Golden.
I'm sorry, Golden, yeah. And you do have some dog-friendly rooms for people who are that way. And then, of course, Chris Welch, who he's been on the podcast. I've interviewed him, and he talks about this place nonstop. I think he teaches yoga here.
He does.
He goes on bike rides and hikes with you guys. So
yes,
and he's going to bike with us this morning.
We had this amazing Iowan who loved to bicycle that moved to Colorado Springs for his new attorney job, and he found the bicycle resort, and he's become our #1 ambassador. I think it was like 2 months straight last summer, we had a different group of people staying here every day from Iowa.
That's awesome. And I'm from Iowa too, so here I am. So thanks to those 3 for promoting this place. It's just amazing. So, and you mentioned a little bit about your family, and I know from what we've talked about that your family is also into cycling. So tell us about that.
I've had my kids on the back of my bike since they were babies, towing them around in a trailer, and so we've just grown up as a bicycling family. And my mom was actually the bicyclist that got me into cycling.
Oh, okay.
But so was riding around town with my kids. They once I got the bicycle hotel, I think we were kind of just their grandmother had bought them unicycles, and they started kind of trying to learn to unicycle. And after I got the hotel, next thing you know, my kids became unicyclists, and we went from unicycling in Garden of the Gods to someone saying, well, if you can unicycle Garden of the Gods, you could unicycle Pikes Peak. And so
what?
Yes. So my 2 sons, 11 and 13, in a year apart from each other, each rode up Pikes Peak on their unicycles, accompanied by Mom, of course, on my bicycle. But it's quite a feat. So
I can't even think about how that would work, because there's no gears.
No,
there's no brakes really.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you have to pedal constantly.
Oh my
Now, I do
gosh.
have to have a disclaimer, or else the mountain will kill me. It is not legal to ride a unicycle on Pikes Peak.
Oh,
so when we did it the first time, we did not know. My son just said, Mom, can we try and ride up Pikes Peak? and we did from the gate all 19 miles to the top. It took us all day, 8 hours. We stopped lots, and he was a 13 years old. He would not do udder butter, but we were the baby powder a lot, stopping a lot for that. But we made it to the top, and it was one of the most amazing experiences. And then the news came out and did a story on him, and then I was like sharing it with the mountain. They're like, well, we're not going to share it on our page because you're really not supposed to ride unicycles. We discourage that. And they're like, it's got the same rules as America's highways. I guess you can't unicycle on a highway either.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. But so I didn't find that out until my other son wanted to do it.
Oh, no.
And so we were planning a trip. They told us we can't do it. And a local race organizer that puts on the Pikes Peak Cycling Hill Climb Ascent actually made a category for unicyclists so that when they paid to close down the road, my 11-year-old got to go the last 7 miles. He had 3 hours, to make it to the top. And so the 11-year-old got to do it too.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And then you said your mom bikes as well?
So my mom's a bicyclist, and after we got the lodge, she and my grandmother were visiting, and my grandmother was 93 at the time, and she was kind of just really digging on all this bicycling stuff, and she's blind, but she asked, how can I become a bicyclist?
Oh, wow.
And a light bulb went off in my mom's head, and next thing you know it, she went out and bought a recumbent tandem TerraTrike bike from this cool shop here called Cycle Different Angle Tech, and put Grandma on the back of the bike. And Grandma was always pretty fit, but at 93, my Nana became a bicyclist. I mean, you should have seen them like going to the bike shop to get her all outfitted and all her cool gear and everything. and so they live in Arizona most of the year, and it's fairly flat where they live.
Sure.
But they like to come out and ride with us, and they were having trouble keeping up on a 20-mile, 2-hour ride with our Saturday club, and so they did get an e-assist recently. So, but yeah.
So they're still cycling.
Yes, and now Grandma's 96, so and she'll turn 97 this year, and they put on some miles, and it's just amazing.
And that tells you a little bit about your future. You've got a lot of time still on the bicycle.
Yes, my mom does expect to have me do the same thing for her that she's done for my grandmother. So we're 4 generations of bicyclists.
Oh, that's
just
great.
Living out our dream here.
Yeah. Well, when you look at the bicycle resort, I'm assuming based on your background that you either hold events or have events come here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the events? A quick interruption to tell you this week's sponsor is Thirsty Pigs, a full-service mobile event company offering beer, wine, spirits, plus catering for any indoor or outdoor event. Check out more at thirstypigs.com. Now back to the show.
We're not just a hotel for bicyclists. We're really kind of a community hub that connects visitors from all over the world to our community. We do weekly events where we have live music on Fridays at the lodge. We host yoga with Chris on Mondays. Throughout the summer, we have art festivals and beer festivals. We're sitting in the lodge right now, and right next to the bar, we have the watering hole where we carry Colorado craft beer, wine, and moonshine. And so this is 4 acres. We've got 47 rooms on 4 acres.
Wow. And I did a tour yesterday, and of course there's snow on the ground, but there's an in-ground pool, there's a volleyball court, there's a huge stage, like a big
our pavilion
place where I'm assuming live music happens.
We like to party here. So it's all about biking, beer, live music, and just having fun.
What's not to like about that? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And all the rooms are decorated very differently. I mean, they all have different bicycle artwork on the wall. We've got all the rooms have bike racks on the wall, but like they have different touches. Like in your room, one of my favorite things is actually by the door. It's what we call our bicycle taxidermy. And it's, how like, this, so it's kind of an ode to the fact that this was an old hunting lodge.
Okay.
And so this room used to be covered, with animal heads and skins and everything. And so to kind of give tribute to that, we created bicycle taxidermy where we have like a bicycle seat that looks like the head with handlebars that come out that look like the antlers on a bicycle wheel mounted on the wall. And that's one of my favorite pieces.
That's awesome. And there's also a lot of, in the room that I'm in, actual photographs of like bike races and bike destinations, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, we have. That's the other great part about living here in the Springs in this location is that we host some really big bicycling events. So the USA Pro Cycling Challenge has come through Colorado Springs.
Oh, nice.
And we've actually hosted like the Canadian Women's Bicycle Team Rally here in different groups. We've had Team Solomon here. But so the picture that's in your room is the bike racers at the US Pro Cycling Challenge racing through Garden of the Gods. And
wow.
We printed them on, we blew them up and printed them on metal, and it's a really cool room. So it's my bike racer room. We also have like a rock and roll bicycle themed room where we made a guitar out of a bicycle wheel.
Oh, cool.
And then the guitar handle coming out. We do a lot of sip and paint parties and stuff in the lodge, and so we make like bicycle art for the rooms and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at where you've been and where you are today, where do you see the future of the bicycle resort?
Well, we've gone from kind of a, rundown motel, to, and just regular tourists that would come to the area and explore. I mean, Colorado Springs is a very popular spot to come in the summer, and it's usually pretty packed, but we've gone from, wholly just regular touring, travelers to probably about 75% of the people that come to the hotel now are bicyclists or coming to bike in the area. So, and I have a podcast too called Pedal the Springs that you can check out to find out about all things biking. So we have one on the mountain biking mecca and our local trail system and just about some of the fun things to do here. I think one of the most exciting things that's happening now is all the race organizers are coming, that are putting on all these, that have been putting on races in the area and have been staying at the luxury hotels and stuff, are now coming to me because I'm the bicycle hotel to put on their bicycling events. And so this year we're hosting the Ride the Rockies Golden Gravel Ride. Is taking place in mid-July. You can check that out. They're going to be riding 3 different days, and we're the stopover stay on the first night. So come and check that out. We also have the Apex race that's sponsored by RockShock, the Pikes Peak Apex, and it's a 4-day, 4-stage mountain bike race that goes all through Garden of the Gods and America's Mountain Pikes Peak and everything. And then we host a cycling Santa ride where you get a Santa suit with your registration in December. And we also have a few gravel rides. So Rampart Rager. And then this summer we're putting on our first Buffalo Stampede.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to come back for that.
Yes. In fact, we're kind of a little behind because we were trying to figure out if we could have a 5-year anniversary ride with COVID and everything and pull that off. So that's taking place mid-June. So Father's Day weekend, we have a really epic ride that we're putting on here and a big party to celebrate our 5 years.
Wow. Okay, so we've got all kinds of events coming up. You have a podcast, so that's cool. Where can people find out more information about this place?
So bicycleresort.com is our website. You can book rooms there. We're pretty active on social media. We have a pretty good Instagram where we're constantly updating that with the different activities. We're also on Facebook. You can also just call us at 719-634-2851.
Awesome. Well, I am thankful that I found this place and that I'm here, and I'm really excited to go for a ride. And while we were talking, Chris Welch walks in, and he put a Colorado flask in front of us. So,
that's awesome. Is it full?
No, it's not.
I can take care of that at the bar. We'll stop at the bar on the way.
Top that off before we take off. A quick interruption to tell you this week's podcast is sponsored by Lizard Lips Lip Balm. These great lip balms contain natural ingredients, come in a variety of flavors, and you can choose certified organic or balms with sun protection. Check it out at lizardlips.net. Now back to the show. Anything else you want to tell the listeners?
just come. I mean, the neat thing about this place is that you can come and stay and be sitting next to a local mountain biker who is going to tell you, and so oftentimes will just take you and show you where to go ride. And you might meet somebody on the way and then come back into the lodge and have a drink by the fire and share your adventures and then go out the next day. And that's kind of what it's all about. It's just creating community. No matter what your political beliefs are, your religious beliefs, the one thing that we all have in common is our shared love for adventure and the outdoors. And there's so much great things that we can share. And it just makes for great friendships. I mean, my best friend just walked in the door yesterday from Iowa, right? My new best friend.
That's
like
right.
You go on a bike ride and you have a drink afterwards, and like you're just connected. And so we get that every day. It is very full in the summer, so you do need to book early. We're 27 rooms into our 47 room renovation, so I do highly recommend our new bicycle friendly suites, but they do book out first. We also have some specials that we do that if you're working in the bike industry or you're coming here for a race or event, or if you are a social media influencer or media journalist, we do have a 50% off rate that we will give you if you let us know that you're coming for an event and you have a registration or you're with a different media outlet, and you'll share our story and tell other people about it. It's a killer deal. You can't beat it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I took some really good videos of my room, before I messed it up by being in it. And so, of course, go to bicycleresort.com to see all kinds of good stuff. There's some really neat YouTube videos that you put on there that kind of you speaking and talking about the story and the history.
Yes.
But then on my Instagram page, you'll find some good info, some videos, some photos. There's going to be some epic photos of our bike ride, but we haven't done it yet. So anyway.
And actually, you just mentioned the YouTube. So if you want to see Great Nana Becomes a Bicyclist, there is a video with Great Nana getting all outfitted to go out and
That's great.
ride. And it's a super cool video. And there's probably stuff about the kids riding up Pikes Peak too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Torie, for your time. And this has
We'll head
been
out
so
for our
fun.
ride, and then you can come meet our other bicyclists.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right. Thank you. That's it for this week. A huge thank you to Torie and her staff for the excellent hospitality. Instead of recording a post-ride podcast, we ended up at the bar and then off to enjoy another bike ride to go grab lunch. So you'll have to just trust me that it was a wonderful ride in the Garden of the Gods. Be sure to check out the show notes for the link to the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort, which their website is simply bicycleresort.com. Also in the show notes is a list of the events Torie mentioned that occur at or near the bicycle resort. I look forward to going back to see Torie and what is new at the Buffalo Lodge Bicycle Resort. If you have a topic or the name of a cyclist you find interesting, email me at murphologypodcast@gmail.com. Please visit my Instagram page for daily entertainment and check out the Murphology YouTube page to find videos of some of the places I go with my bike. I'll leave you with this quote from the Unwritten Book of Murphology. This quote comes from Elbert Hubbard. "A little more persistence, a little more effort, and what seems hopeless failure may turn to glorious success. Think about it."